Hey guys, Miguel Gurza with the Kaminsky Real Estate Group here. For those that don't know me, I am a real estate agent in the South Bay area of Los Angeles with Christie's International Real Estate. I wanted to bring in my friend Erick Conway onto this meeting here. Erick is a certified financial planner with Bonberg Investments in San Diego. And I thought it would be important in this time to get firsthand knowledge and perspective from somebody in the financial field. So Erick, I guess, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Well, first of all, thank you for joining us on this call. And I'll let you go ahead and get started and tell us what we need to know in this time.
Yeah, I think this is a good idea. I was glad you reached out, kind of get some awareness, and I can share, kind of the concerns that our clients are having right now and what we're telling them. I think the biggest thing, right, is the current market sell-off that we've had has been, very quick and steep. There's a lot of uncertainty out there with the coronavirus and everything that's going on. No one really knows when there's going to be an end to this, and uncertainty in the markets really causes, sell-offs and all this volatility that we're seeing. So, I've talked to some biotech people that I know down here, and I think, best case scenario, we're looking at a treatment maybe within a month, probably more realistic, 2 or 3 months. So it's still a ways out. Once we get a treatment and we start to see these cases, the number of cases, daily cases that we're getting start to lower a bit, we're going to start getting some traction and really find a bottom in the markets, and hopefully we get, a rebound and turn things around. Until then, there will be some volatility, The best thing you can do is have a plan in place, right? So if you have a allocation that you've decided on, stick to it, stick to your plan. You don't want to panic sell. Things we're doing for our clients right now, we're not moving to cash right now. If anything, we're adding where we can, rebalancing, and just staying disciplined. And at this point, you just kind of have to wait this thing out and just watch things and, again, just stick to the financial plan that you've, kind of decided that, for your long-term allocation.
Yeah, and
right.
have you found that people have been open to taking that advice and following your guidance with that?
Yeah, for the most part, we've done a very good job of setting the table, and we really start with planning. We pick an allocation. We let them know from the very beginning of the relationship. Look, eventually this is going to happen, right? We're going to get these big downturns. It happens in the market. There's no avoiding it. So, and here we are, but we've been telling them, over and over and over, even when the markets have been fantastic, the returns last year were great. We're telling them, look, it's not always going to be like this. And so it's setting expectations and knowing, look, these things happen. So now that it's happening, for the most part, everyone's pretty calm. We do, of course, people are going to worry, but
yeah,
it's really just it all goes back to, look, here's the plan that we had. Here's the plan that we have in place. Let's stick to it. Let's ride this thing out, and really just trying to make sure everyone's remaining calm through all of this, because it is very nerve-wracking. There's, all this negative news, everything that's going on. You see people hoarding everything, from toilet paper to whatever. You go to a grocery store and there's, it's hard to find anything. But
yeah, and I think it's a good point to let people know that staying calm is one of the most important thing that you can do right now. It's very much like a storm that we're experiencing, and you need to focus on breathing and staying calm and getting through it, because it's gonna pass, and what is it going to look like on the other side? All remains to be seen. There's that uncertainty, but I think staying calm and staying disciplined, like you said, is a really strong aspect that people need to understand right now.
Yeah, you look at any of the past recessions over the years, look at the dot-com bust, the financial crisis.
Right.
We get the sharp decline in the markets, but it always bounces back.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. Yeah, I like to tell people I can't tell you when that's going to be. I know I'm going to be right. I just don't know when I'm going to be right.
Right.
Things will get better. Things will get better.
Yeah.
When, no one really knows. Trying to time the market, you can't do it. No one knows when the bottom's going to be. But if you have a plan in place and you stick to it, over time it works.
Okay. And I think we give our clients very similar advice in the housing market. Markets are cyclical. You're gonna see downturns; they're inevitable. But with housing, if you are in it for the long term, you're gonna win, right? The appreciation of your assets is gonna increase to higher levels than it was where you bought it, depending on how long you're in the game for. I did want to switch it over to, because I think the financial markets and the housing markets in a lot of ways are tied together. And I did want to share some insight on what we've been experiencing so far from the housing side. In my market, we're in the South Bay, which is the beach cities, Manhattan, Hermosa, Redondo. And I've included El Segundo and Torrance for these figures. But we've seen 48 properties come to the market since Monday of this week. So since all the coronavirus news has been, sharply increasing, we've seen 48 homes come to the market. And in that same time, 50 homes have gone into escrow. So there's more homes being bought than are coming to the market in this time, which means that it's still a very active marketplace. So what are we doing to evolve, right? To evolve in real time to adjust to the new landscape that we're dealing with, right? Everybody is isolated and quarantined right now, which means that people that need to buy homes have the time to be in front of their phone or their computer screen and look for properties. Because a lot of times people's needs to move homes doesn't really coincide with what may be going on nationally or globally. If people are going through a divorce or they need to downsize or they're having more kids and they need to find a bigger home, those things are the main factors that drive people in their home search. So how are we helping them achieve that in this new time? We personally at the Kaminsky Real Estate Group are dealing with all of our seller clients right now, working on getting virtual 3D home tours done for every listing that we have. And that way, buyers can essentially walk through the house at their own pace and really get a digital experience of what it is to be in the home. And we're working on putting deals together, essentially sight unseen, right? These people are taking virtual tours, having never been in the home itself, and still potentially writing offers. So because of that, there's going to have to be new contractual language that protects people, allows them to back out of the deal if they need to. But that's one thing that we're trying to accomplish is putting deals together, having people buy and sell homes virtually at this point, because that's the way we're going to have to operate until the quarantine call gets lifted.
Yeah. What about, rates have come down quite a bit. And we have clients that are, either wanting to buy new properties, right? So they're actively looking and have been looking. And also clients that are looking, calling is now a good time to refinance, with how rates have come down. So can you just touch on that a little bit? I know it still seems to be, a strong housing market. It's like you said, there's more buyers than sellers right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the refinancing part, I think would be interesting to touch on and kind of see where your head's at there.
Yeah, obviously, anytime the Fed is going to drop the rates, and then just to, as a disclaimer, mortgage rates aren't directly tied to the Fed rates. So when you see that the Fed drops rates, it doesn't necessarily mean that interest rates are going to drop accordingly. There's different ratios, different elements that guide what the mortgage rates are. That being said, mortgage rates are at historic lows, and they have been for years. So that having them be lower than they have been in the past, 7 to 10 years is a good opportunity for a lot of people. The refi market is booming, and because of that, that's one area where we're seeing an immediate impact from the coronavirus. They're dropping rates, keeping buyer activity strong, but then that kind of overwhelms the banking or the lending system, right? So everybody's trying to refi. So what we're seeing from that on the back end is that, closing, like getting the loan approved and closing on the home may be affected, just delayed a couple days, just because so many people are out there refinancing. And if people haven't done that in, several years, now is as good a time as any to get out there and save yourself, possibly several thousands of dollars a year on a lower interest rate.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I mean, I think, to close out, what I would really like to, I guess, leave people with is, right now, you don't want to be panicking, about anything that's going on. Remain calm. If you're contributing to a 401k, continue to do so.
Yep.
Don't change your allocation. Don't stop your contributions. You have to think long term. We will get through this.
Yeah.
It will end eventually, and we'll rebound. So staying invested, staying in your seat, not panicking is very important in these types of markets.
Yeah, Eric, I think that's great advice, and I think the sooner that we can get out of this mess, obviously the quicker that the economic impact will rebound. So I do think it's important for people to adhere to social distancing and stay indoors and do your part to make sure that we get through this as quickly as possible, because there is an ending, and hopefully it comes sooner than later.
Yep. We'll see. So, all right.
Well, thanks for your input. It's very helpful, and hope to see you soon.
Yeah, good talking to you, buddy.
All right, take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.